Let's return to our attraction transaction. We know that the attributes country ID and city ID are foreign keys in this transaction, and that the attributes country name and city name are inferred attributes. But the attributes attraction category ID and attraction category description are still physical attributes in the table that arises from this transaction. We mentioned that it would make sense to have a transaction attraction category, since it makes sense for the categories to exist beyond the attractions. So we'll create the transaction attraction category. To create a new object, we can press Ctrl-N and create a transaction. We press the period key and the attributes attraction category description and attraction category ID are suggested since these attributes already belong to RKB. We'll create the domain description, which will be a character 40, and we'll associate it to this attribute's definition. We've already seen one way to define domains by using the option domains. We'll define it directly from here now. We type the name we want to assign the domain, in this case, description, which equals character 40, and the domain is defined. We save the changes, and we can verify by going to the option Domains. And we see that our domain was actually created. Defining this transaction will get GeneXus to create a table with the same name and with these same attributes. We can save it, we can see it from here from the option Tables. The table attraction category with the same attributes. We'll press F5 and we see the impact analysis report. Here it's telling us that the attraction table will need changes since the attraction category description attribute will not be physically in it anymore. It will now be inferred through the foreign key attraction category ID. As for the attraction category table, it's a new table that will be created. Let's move on and hit Reorganize. We open our transaction and we'll insert our first category. If we recall, the category ID attribute is based on the ID domain, which is auto-numbered, so we won't have to specify a value here. For the description, we'll enter gastronomy and confirm, and we've inserted our first record. Let's insert another one called adventure and another one called buildings or structures, and if we press the select button, we can view the records that we just entered, and we can check that they were in fact auto-numbered. We can now insert our first tourist attraction. So returning to the developer menu, in order to insert a tourist attraction, we have to insert a country and a city first. So we open the country transaction and enter the country, Uruguay. We search for the flag, and now we go to define City 1, and confirm. And we've inserted our country. And now we are ready to insert our tourist attraction. We select our attraction transaction, and we'll enter the Centenario Stadium in the city of Montevideo. Since it would be hard to remember the code of the category, GeneXus offers a selection list for every foreign key in the transaction, and these will let us view the categories that have been entered. The stadium is a building, so we'll select this option. The category's description is automatically inferred. And now we added the country and city, and we confirm. And we've entered our tourist attraction. To verify that the referential integrity controls are being carried out, let's try to enter any value. A value that has not been entered yet, for example 8, and you can see that GeneXus displays this message. We return to our attraction transaction, and we'll see that GeneXus allows us to mask one attribute as another. When we do this, the user does not have to use the selection list that we've just seen. He can directly start typing the description of the category he wants to assign the attraction to, and GeneXus will save the identifier of this category. So to do this, we'll go to the web form of the application, and we'll concentrate on the attraction category ID attribute. Pressing F4, we edit the properties and concentrate on this attribute input type. We'll tell it to take descriptions to save the values corresponding to the attraction category ID attribute, but display the values corresponding to the attraction category description attribute. So we'll be seeing the descriptions, but GeneXus will be saving the corresponding ID attribute. So we'll also configure the property suggest, and we'll choose the option incremental. So as we start typing the description, GeneXus will be displaying the descriptions that have already been entered and that match what we are typing. We save the changes, and closing the Properties panel, and now that we have masked this attribute, it's not necessary to have this item corresponding to the description anymore, because that's what we'll be typing here. So we eliminate it, and delete its title, and move the label from the description over so it will match what we're seeing on the screen. We save the changes and press F5 in order to run our application. Let's add another category: buildings, rocks, structures, and confirm. We'll go to the developer menu, and I want to enter the Eiffel Tower as an attraction, so first I'll enter France as a country. And I'll enter the city of Paris. I confirm. And now we can insert the Eiffel Tower as an attraction. We'll specify that it's a building, and note that GeneXus suggests the descriptions that have already been entered that match the word building. So I choose Buildings and Structures, and let's find its image. Now the country, and the city, and we save. Now that we've seen our application running and have implemented some changes in its behavior, We are ready to see what tools GeneXus offers to modify its appearance and improve its usability.